Okay, welcome to Family Formation Daily Devotions for you and your home during COVID-19. We've been looking at a variety of different passages. We did a 9-part series through the fruit of the Spirit. But today we're going to be taking a peek in the Old Testament and drawing from some wisdom from the book of Proverbs. And let's go ahead and take a peek at it here. All right. So here we go. The passage that we're going to be looking at today is going to be, let's go with green, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. This is what it says. The purpose of a man in a man's heart is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. That's good. There's some wisdom there, but there's also some stuff that we might only see at a surface level unless we dig a little bit deeper. So let's go ahead and just kind of walk through this verse together. The purpose or the intentions or the pursuits of a man's heart is like deep water. Let's go ahead and look at this word for heart right here. It's the Hebrew word lev. Lev is sometimes transliterated as L-E-B, but it's a soft B, kind of giving you a V sound, a lev. And so here's what we get with that word. It's translated as heart, but also it's translated as mind or minds, as sense, as understanding, as courage, as skill. And here is a couple of different ways that this word will be translated. It's one's inner self, the inclination, disposition, determination, courage, will, intention, attention. It is the inner man. It is your mind, your will, and your heart. So we live in a day in which the heart kind of refers to our emotions. But that wasn't the concept for the ancient world. The heart was your innermost being, where your thoughts and your emotions and your will came together as your center core of who you are. It was your heart that guided and directed your steps, both from a logical, thoughtful position, but also from your emotional, but also at the very center from the very desires that you have, that you hold on to. And so, just a quick moment here. Move a bar that you guys can't see. Okay, here we go. So the purpose in the man's heart. So what we're talking about is our innermost being of our desires and our wants. It's like deep water. So a couple things here about what that lets us know. It means that that my personal desires are deep down, and it's going to take understanding to draw them to the surface, to get them from the deep down, maybe secret place, maybe the place where there's shame or whatever it is. It will take understanding to get that heart motivation, that heart level pursuit and desire, and to draw that out so it can be set on display. It's like deep water in that sense. But here's the other thing as well, is that deep water is also the deep waters, the depths, the deep. All of those were Hebrew concepts for the open ocean, the big Mediterranean Sea. It was a place of chaos and mystery and death. The Israelites were not seafaring people. And so whenever you see them referring to the deep waters, it's oftentimes, it is not positive, it's scary, it is a force. And so if we were to look at the places in which, especially in Hebrew poetry, such as the Psalms, and we look at how the deeps or the deep waters, how that's used, it reinforces that same idea that I just mentioned. It says that he gathers up the waters of the sea as a heap. He puts the deeps in storehouses. So Psalm 33 is a reference to the strength and the power of God, that even the untamable waves of the big sea, of the deep waters, the uncontrollable force that is, God is able to control that. In Psalm 69, it says, I sink in deep mire where there's no foothold. I have come into deep waters, and the flood sweeps over me. And in this passage is reference to to the psalmist's circumstances being unbearable and unable to overcome them. And then we get a little bit more of an understanding of what those um, what specifically his circumstances are that seem impossible to overcome. In verse 14, it says, "Deliver me from sinking into the mire. Let me be delivered from my enemies and from the deep waters." And so, what we see here is that the deep waters, uh, the great force that's bringing about death and destruction, is the enemy of this psalmist. And so, whether it's David penning and penning a psalm and feeling like Saul is going to overcome him, or the psalmist who has seen the destruction of Jerusalem at the hands of Babylon, um, this was a poetic way of describing uncontrollable force, destruction, even mystery, darkness, all of that. So let's return to this. A man's heart is like deep waters, in that my heart has chaos and mystery to it. Um, it is filled with a sin nature that sends me um, on pursuits that are away from God. I desire things that I shouldn't desire. I think things that I shouldn't think. I say things that I shouldn't say. And ultimately, all the things that we do are rooted deep down into what we want. We do what we do because we want what we want. And so, uh, to see why someone explodes in anger, it might be that there is something deep down in there, a deep desire, a deep want, that this individual is unaware of. And so there needs to be a man of understanding, someone with understanding, somebody with wisdom, who will take the time to ask questions, to draw it out, um, and to say, I think there's something underneath what is able to be seen at the surface. And so, why this verse in the midst of COVID-19 and in the midst of the quarantine that we're in? Because this is a reminder that the people in your house, um, they are they have hearts that are like deep waters. This is in your home, and we have jobs, the job of drawing out the heart motivations. And we do that remembering that human hearts have chaos, mystery, and even sin nature that leads to death apart from Jesus. So there are some thoughts for us to remember, is that spouses, kids, siblings, um, that the things that they're doing that might be causing you frustration is coming from some heart posture, some heart desire, some heart motivation. And it's your job not to react in anger or frustration or impatience, but it's your job to have wisdom, to ask questions, to say, why is it that you behave this way? Why is it that you speak this way? Why is it that you keep doing the same thing over and over again, knowing that it comes with negative consequences? Let us be people who pursue the deep waters where the lave is situated, where the heart, where the desires and the passions and the minds and the thoughts of people, where all of that dwells. Let us be people who pursue that and pursue drawing it out. In order to do that, we're going to need to be able to display the fruit of the Spirit in our own lives. We're also going to need to give it time and grace, and we're also going to need to ask really good questions, heart-probing questions, questions that start with why and how and things like that. Not just the surface level what you did was wrong. Okay, but let's find out why. Let's explore that so that we can get to the heart, so that we can use wisdom bringing true correction. That's what we're after. Um, that's how we love the people in our homes well. And so, my prayer for you is that you would consider the hearts of the other people in your home, and that you would pursue the wisdom of God in drawing out those hearts, giving grace, and using wisdom to bring healing and restoration. God bless.